Alright, you guys, I'm back with another video. Now, I will be doing a review later on about the recent chapter, but before that, like I said, I've been working on this video and I thought I'd bring it out. This will be part one of a two-part series, which I will probably upload the second part within the next couple of days or so. But as beginning, as you can see, this is a battle between Meliodas of the Seven Deadly Sins versus Naruto Uzumaki in Naruto. And I have to say, I've seen this battle thought of before in things such as the Reddit page and stuff. And I kind of thought I'd bring my 2 cents into it in the form of a video. So let's go ahead and get into it. Let's figure out who is going to win in today's battle. Meliodas, the captain of the Seven Deadly Sins, versus our good old boy, Naruto Uzumaki of Naruto Shippuden. Now, I'm using Naruto Shippuden for one main purpose, and that's mainly because Naruto in part 1, even at his strongest point when he faced off against Sasuke, the Valiant when he had the One Tails, didn't really, at least to me anyway, show that he had any potential on defeating that Meliodas, even like part 1 beginning of the series Meliodas. So I'm gonna skip on ahead and skip over all of Naruto part 1, I'm sorry, and straight to Shippuden. So let's get into it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I know this isn't gonna be any bias because I actually like both of them, but beginning of Naruto Shippuden Naruto is pretty much not gonna be able to do anything against beginning of the series Meliodas. His greatest feat that we've seen, he was able to take on people such as Kakashi, but with the help of Sakura, but Kakashi wasn't trying hard. And his greatest devastating attack at this time was known as the Giant Rasengan, which isn't going to really do anything considering he still has nothing, no form of speed or anything to be able to really combat Melio. Plus, the destructive capabilities of that Rasengan pale in comparison to what Meliodas is able to do at this state. Now, Meliodas at this state in the game, like I said, and just his basically from what we just the very beginning already faced off against a foe that was able to cut an entire forest. All the trees were able to cut it off. And one of his most notable feat when he went off to search for the Seven Deadly Sins, faced off against Gil Thunder, who utilizes the power of lightning. Now, granted, whether or not you want to say that he moves at the speed of lightning or not, doesn't really matter. He's, regardless of the situation relative to it, if not, like I said, moving at the speed of lightning at this point. And Meliodas was able to casually blitz him throughout the entire fight and was holding back. So yeah, that's just his speed portion. Another great portion was when he was put under hypnosis by one of the Holy Knights, Jude, who plays him and Deanne being the Serpent Sin of Envy, and Meliodas' comrade, who was also stated to be essentially someone possible with the most physically gifted amongst the Sins, and he was still able to face off against her evenly in terms of hand-to-hand combat. Deanne being easily, at the very least, around Sakura's level of power, if not even greater. So, yeah, very beginning of the series Meliodas, when we first introduced it to him, is without a shadow of doubt at a greater state at this point compared to Naruto, who simply just does not have anything that can really stand up against this Meliodas. He doesn't have any speed feats that can actually show that he would be at least fast enough to hit him with that, and he does not have the power feats. Now, we're doing this in all forms, so at this point, like I said, we're bringing in the Rasen Shuriken version of Naruto, which isn't really much of an improvement. This is just simply Naruto with more knowledge, in a sense, with a new jutsu. Now he understands about chakra, the change in chakra nature and form, so he was able to add on to the Rasengan. Instead of making it just expand in size and destructive capabilities, he added wind nature to it, which without a shadow of a doubt makes him a lot greater in terms of power, because the Rasen Shuriken without a doubt has way more destructive power than most forms that Meliodas has faced during this time, but it's not going to help him too much. For one of the biggest issues is Tsunade herself stated that he wouldn't even be able to use it at this point because it actually did damage to him as well. And even if you don't account, it would definitely damage Meliodas to a high level. I really don't have any problems setting that, consider it does attack, at least the people in Naruto, it attacks their chakra network in itself. But like I said, the fact that it also does damage to Naruto and it has a time limit, and the worst part about it, after he uses it just a couple of times, he was extremely fatigued. And it also needs to be used at a close distance, which is the biggest problem, considering, like I said, if it base Meliodas or even Demon Mark Meliodas isn't able to do it, without a doubt, his Berserker mode, which had a power level of around over 10,000, was already rough a little over 3 times stronger than his base self. And as stated by Chojin and Yamato, that yeah, it has to be used at close distance, and Kakuzu of the Akatsuki was able to dodge it. So it's not really much Naruto is able to do. But this all comes to a huge change when it comes to Sage Mode. Unlike the previous battle where Naruto just simply gains a new jutsu, it didn't really affect Meliodas. Sage Mode Naruto, on the other hand, is a completely different story. This is going to be a battle between Sage Mode Naruto versus Meliodas once he gets his power returned. But Sage Mode Naruto is of a completely different caliber. This Naruto went through training at Mount Miyaboku to become a perfect sage and utilize nature energy, which is a huge help in this fight when Pain of the Akatsuki, the quote-unquote leader of the Akatsuki, came in to actually battle against Naruto. Now, this enhanced him greatly in pretty much every single aspect. The prime example being at the very beginning, like I said, we see just early on in the fight that Naruto at this point has now fully mastered the Rasen Shuriken, which would become a huge issue to Meliodas, because now he doesn't need to get up close and personal. He can actually simply throw the projectile. Now granted, it's not like it moves really any faster, but it definitely does help Naruto, just in a simple sense that yeah, he doesn't have to be close and personal, and he could catch him by surprise because it expands. On top of which, he is now much more physically capable in the sense that when a giant building-sized rhino, essentially from one of the Pain summoning, comes to attack him at full speed, he casually stops it on his own and just proceeds to just throw it. I mean, hundreds of feet in the air, and he just does this at a very casual rate. And this is just all what he shows at the very beginning. On top of which, taking out most of the passive Pain on his own. Like I said, not all of them, but most, and I'm going to come back to that point later when it comes to Meliodas' turn. But he does manage to take out most of them with relative ease. Now, he does have an issue of things such as time limit, and it didn't seem like he could use shadow clones as much as he could. But later on, we do see, and the reason why I'm still counting this is because he didn't really show that he trained in it. You could argue he gained more experience through fighting Pain. But once he comes back, we see that now he's able to basically produce shadow clones as if he was normal or in his basement. And he also managed to do this while facing off against the Nine Tails. Now, the Nine Tails being the strongest of the tailed beasts, and he was able to form a bunch of shadow clones that produce mountain carving Rasengans. It was able to actually push the Nine Tails back and actually cause him a bit of trouble, which is great in Naruto aspect, but it's not something that clearly outclasses Meliodas, such as with the case of Gloxina and Droll. Now, the reason why I'm bringing these two up, because these are the first two people of the Ten Commandments that Meliodas faced, with both having a parallel of 50,000 and the other one of 54. Gloxina being 50, Droll being 54. With a parallel of just 40,000, Galan was able to basically easily destroy the mountain cave that they were all standing in, and he still is considered to be one of the weaker members of the commandments compared to Gloxina and Droll. Gloxina, at the very beginning of the fight, when Meliodas intrudes in the fight, easily sends his Basquiat at his first form at Meliodas, who Meliodas takes point blank range and gets hit with an explosion of this magnitude that I have on screen, and he comes back. With Droll being even stronger than Gloxina, and in the end, it didn't matter. Meliodas was still able to face both of them at the exact same time and still casually beat. Now, the reason why this is so impressive because this also shows to Meliodas' battle strategy, and it also shows that he has a lot of physical strength as well, considering Droll was seen to be the strongest of the giant clan. Now keep this in mind, like I said, Droll is much bigger than Yan and much more powerful than Yan. In fact, about nearly around 10 times stronger than Yan was at this point in the series, and Meliodas is still finessing with a parallel of 56,000. Now, this isn't even all. This is just him not even showing like his full capability. Later on, the 10 commandments who sense Meliodas' power later come down and actually all attack him at the same time, as he is bound to that area. Derriere, one of the other 10 commandments, faces him with a power known as Combo Star, which, according to Moan Speed, adds 200,000 pounds as long as she continues to combo. Meliodas took 54 on, which equals out to 10,800,000 pounds of force, and he dealt with that quite casually. As a matter of fact, he actually took it for the sole purpose of his revenge counter, which is a move that I didn't bring up just yet. But basically, revenge counter is an ability that allows him to take on any damage that his opponent has dealt to him by turning off his full counter and simply launching it right back at his opponent with more force. Now that is a huge help. Now that would be a huge help considering, like I said, even if you were to say that Naruto still has more physical strength or could be possibly faster, which I would have to disagree with in the first place, it would still lead to, even if he gets hit with the Rasen Shuriken a few times, or the Mount Carmel Rasengans from his barrages, it would still lead to Meliodas simply realizing he wouldn't be able to win by normal means and tanking all of Naruto's attacks, or at least taking the damage of them, and being able to dish it right back at Naruto at an even greater rate than Naruto was. So in other words, all those attacks that he used against him would essentially be absorbed by Meliodas and sent right back at him with even greater force than he had before. And because of that, Meliodas still holds a bit of advantage over Naruto, which personally, like I said, is just being generous, but I still do think, no matter the situation, at this point, Meliodas still takes the win over Naruto. Now, like I said, this is just nothing more than a beginning stage. Like I said, this is only the part 1. I just want to just kind of go over each one of their feats and kind of show you, because a lot of people seem to think that Meliodas is kind of fodder, so I just kind of want to go so that he can do a lot more and even stand up to a high level character like Naruto. Now, like I said, part 2 will basically consist of essentially both of them being in their war arcs and going all the way up until 7th Hokage Naruto, and basically the current point in the manga series of Meliodas. So yeah, when we come back, that is what I'll do, and I'll try to have that out within the next few days or so. But without a shadow of doubt, it will be out. And until next time, you guys, remember to like, share, and subscribe. And if you enjoyed it, let me know, and we'll talk about it in the comments next time. Peace.